Good evening and welcome to all of you. We are here taking the opportunity to get to know our running candidates in a positive and productive environment. There are a few rules that we need to follow during the forum. There will be no audience comments, no negativity, no cheering, no jabbing, and please hold your clapping until the very end after candidate closing statements. And please silence your cell phones. So I'll go ahead and start with the closing statements.
We're going to say the
Oh,
Pledge
wait,
of
oh,
Allegiance first.
my bad. I apologize. We are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a little education. We have some cards, so you're allowed 2 minutes. We hold up the card when you have a 1 minute left, and then 30 seconds, and then there'll be another card letting you know you have 30 seconds left. Thank you. We'll start with the opening statements. Colleen, please start.
Hi, my name is Colleen Wallace, and I'm running for the Banning 5th District C for City Council. And my ultimate goal is to have City Council and our citizens come together as one so we can have a productive city and so it can grow.
Thank you, Colleen. David?
Welcome.
Hello, my name is David Ellis, and I'm a candidate for District 5. First, I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this meeting. I would like to thank my wife for allowing me the time that's going to be necessary in the next 4 years if I'm elected to service the people properly. And I would like to thank Nicole for moderating. I have been a resident of Banning in my current house for close to 40 years. And over the 40 years, I have watched the steady decline of this city, and it scares me. I've had the opportunity to serve as 2 terms on the Planning Commission and being a nominated chair because of my perfection, I would say. I do my homework. I know what I'm talking about. I don't show favoritism. I enjoy helping the little people. I'm extremely concerned over the high utility rates that we have. I'm concerned about our police and safety. I'm concerned about the 3 grand jury investigations that we've had. And I hope that I have an opportunity this evening to discuss those concerns and my plans to solve those problems. And again, thank you all for attending the meeting tonight.
Thank you, David. I will go ahead and start the questions. The first question, I'm going to alternate between the both of you with the questions. I'll start with David. The master plan zoning, if you've had a chance to become familiar with the current master plan, what would be your top 2 to 3 priorities as it receives an overhaul?
I think as we look at the master plan, it took a lot of thought to put it together. And I feel that it's correct. And I think the biggest issue is following the master plan. We seem to have indifferences as being a planning commissioner that we'll have developers come in and they'll want to change things that suit them, but that does not suit the community. So as we look at it, the master plan, I feel, is good. I feel the housing element is good. I think that our town needs growth, but I feel that our town needs controlled growth. We need to bring growth into our town that's going to prosper, and people and families will prosper. I don't think that uncontrolled growth is going to be good for us. Number one, it will affect our infrastructure. It will affect our public safety. If we grow too fast and we don't watch what we do, we're going to have problems with infrastructure, public safety, And hopefully, we can adhere to the general plan that we spent millions of dollars to bring forth and not have to make variances for special interest groups. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Colleen?
I agree with some of his things on the master plan. My concerns is that we have to get together with the community, and we have to acknowledge that it's problems in our city. So therefore, I think we should probably have meetings more, get the community involved in things so that they will understand what's going on in our community. Because a lot of people, they don't understand what's going on. So I feel that if we come together, then we'll know what's going on. And, you know, don't have corruption. Just help the community. That's what it's all about.
Thank you,
You're
Colleen.
welcome.
I'm going to start with David. Now that the city is divided into districts with a council member for each district, the situation may arise that the interest of your district are at odds with the interest of the city. How do you propose to resolve such a conflict? David?
Very good question. I feel that districting is going to give Banning an opportunity to excel and move forward. For so many years, we've been under the influence of Sun Lakes, and the influence has not been the best. So in regards to the question, going to districting was done so that we could break the monopoly of special interest groups running our city, number one, and it was also to aid the Hispanic community, because we had very few Hispanic people sitting on the council, sitting on committees and things. So going into districting, to me, is not going to affect any type of special projects. In other words, if District 5 is in need of a park or in need of some type of facility, that facility should be shared throughout the whole city. Just because we're going to districting does not make it unique to just our district. So if District 2 or District 1 builds a park, the whole community should be able to enjoy it. Basically, again, districting was brought forward so that we could take our city back, I feel. It's been over 30 years that it's been under adverse control, and it's time that we take advantage of this districting and move forward. It's a great thing that happened, and I would like to thank Frank Burgess for putting forward this and having the tenacity to finish with it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Colleen?
I feel that it shouldn't have been broken into districts because I feel that, okay, I have family that's on the other side of town, so therefore they can't vote for me because I'm on the other side of town. So I feel it should be a community. That's how Banning came together. Everyone was together. And I just feel, I don't like the district being broken up. I just feel that it should have stayed one, everybody votes for whoever, and I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I wish I could change that because I really don't like that district, because that's saying these people over here can't vote, but these people over here can vote. As far as parks, that anyone can come to the East Side Park. It's not just for the East Side. So I disagree with what Dave said about that. Anybody can come to the East Side Park, and that's how I feel about it.
Thank you, Colleen.
You're welcome.
I'm going to start with Colleen. What kind of experience do you possess in financial review, budgeting, and forecasting?
Like I tell everybody, this is my first time doing this because it was in my spirit. I'm willing to learn to get the budget right so we can grow in Banning. We need to have this budget right. As people say, they're stealing money. Well, we need to find out that's happening. So my thing is to make sure that the budget goes out to the city so we can prosper in Banning.
Thank you, Colleen. David?
Nicole, would you please repeat that question again?
Sure. What kind of experience do you possess in financial review, budgeting, and forecasting?
That's a good question. Thank you. I spent over 20-plus years at Bob Miller RV in Beaumont. And over those 20 years, I had invaluable lessons that were taught to me about budgeting. Because in the motorhome business, you have the good months and you have the slow months. So you would have to know how to keep money for the slow times, and you would spend your money in the good times. Budgeting is the big problem in this town, to be honest with you. It's the solution to a lot of problems we have. Budgeting is a solution that can help our utilities, it can help our police department, it can help a host of things. I spent 2 years at Valley College studying business and mechanical drawing. I spent 2 years at Riverside City College studying real estate law and contracts. And in those courses, we took business courses. And they emphasize the importance of budgeting and financing. So I feel I have a very strong background, and the community can benefit from that. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Colleen,
Yes.
why are you running for city council, and what special qualifications would you bring as a council member?
Number one, I was born and raised in Banning. I'm a fourth generation of Banning. The qualities I feel that I can bring to Banning is to help our community to grow, bring in businesses, jobs, help with the school board. I feel I can do this. I really have it in my heart that I can do this. I feel that I can help this city come back to where it used to be.
Thank you, Colleen.
You're welcome.
David?
You know, I don't know why I'm sitting here today, to be honest with you. 6 years ago, I was asked to sit on the Planning Commission, and I enjoyed it. And over the years, sitting on the Planning Commission, I became very worried about the future of our town. When you get down and you start looking at the real nitty-gritty of what the plans are and the future of this town, it's scary, folks. It's not the Banning that my grandparents came to in 1918, 100 years ago, and it never will be. But Banning has had a steady decline and a fast, slippery slope for the last 10 years. We've experienced a 175% increase in our utilities in the last 10 years. That's scary. So really, the reason that I'm running for city council is I feel that I'm very qualified. I have spent probably hundreds of hours. I've attended 200 meetings in the last 6 years. And I was approached by a group of people in the community, and they asked me to run. And again, I feel that I'm the best qualified out of the candidates that are running for the district. I feel that I have the most knowledge that's needed, and I'm ready to make the commitment to the people of this town and try to continue the movement that's already started to clean our town up and to return it to a nice place. And I agree with Colleen, we need to get together. We need to have more participation in our community meetings. We need to solve the problem of dissension and separation that seems so prevalent in our country. Thank you.
Thank you. That completes the 4 questions. I think we're going to take a 15-minute break. As a reminder, if you want to ask a question of the candidates, we have cards in the back. You're more than welcome to fill it out and bring it to Kyle up here in the front. If elected, what would you do to bring new business to Banning? How would you get current businesses to stay in Banning?
That's a very good question. There's people that have worked years on that. One of the big problems that Banning has is the first highest electric rates in the state of California. Now, why would anybody in their right mind come to a city that has the highest utility rates in the state of California for electricity? And I don't know, water's right up there. Sitting on the Planning Commission, many times I witnessed staff bringing unbelievable criteria or regulations or items that they wanted a new business to do. In order to draw new business into this town, you have to entice people. We have to do something about our fees. $4,500 for a conditional use permit is ridiculous. Had an individual that I told him they're lowering the fees. They're going to omit the fee of the conditional use permit of $4,500. He rushes down to the city because he had an idea. He wanted to sell exotic cars out of his existing business. The city told him $8,000 in environmental impact report fees. So in order for us to attract businesses, number one, we have to lower our utilities, our electric. Number two, we have to become friendly to people and prospective business people coming into our town. We have to make it easier. And number three, we have to have houses. And we have to have houses like were just approved last month or this month, 13 houses on a half acre that are 2,400 square foot. Those types of homes bring in discretionary income. Discretionary income can be spent in our town. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Colleen?
I feel that if we go out and talk to, different businesses, and I understand the electrical rate is up, but if you get good businesses that want to come and see that our town is improving, they will stay and they will help us out. Because in reality, we need something to come here for our taxes. I mean, we need to have businesses here. So I feel that it would be good if we go out, talk like I have done. I have called a couple of people and they said they're going to come out, look at some property out here, and then they'll go through what the changes that they have to go through to try to come here and make a business here.
Thank you, Colleen. I'm going to start with Colleen. What is your position on low-income, high-density housing in this city?
Well, to be honest, I don't know much about that, but I'm learning. I do agree with Dave. We do need homes here. And for some people that I have talked to about coming here for businesses, they said it's not enough rooftops. To me, it is, but we need to get more houses here, and then businesses will stay here.
Thank you, Colleen. David?
Very high density, very low income housing. Housing projects fail. The only person that makes money is the developer. They fail our children, they fail the community, they fail all the way around. If we want to build our town, we want to build our tax base, we want to build discretionary income for housing, we want housing projects like were approved last month, or this month, I'm sorry, down on South San Gregonio. 13 half-acre homes, 2,400 to 2,700 square foot, $300,000 to $350,000. That type of housing is what this town was originally set for. We had housing set ranches on the south side. Anybody that's owned a horse knows that it's not an inexpensive habit, if you will. If you own a horse, you have to have discretionary income. So I feel that there's a place for high-density, low-income housing because we do need to help people. But some of the projects that were brought before us, 3 stories high on 3,000 square foot lots, it's not fair, folks. because children do not have the opportunity to spread out and create their own little kingdoms. They have to be intermingled with different kinds of problems, and it creates a lot of problems. And again, if you do your homework on very high density, very low income housing projects, every single one fails. Every single one. There's one in Redlands. 2 years it's been in Redlands, and it's already falling into despair. So my plan is to have homes and housing that are properly placed, properly built, and benefit the community, not the developer. Thank you. Thumb flat, you heard the rules.
Thank you, David. Last question from the audience. I'll start with David. What is the Brown Act and why is it important?
You know, Nicole, I'm glad you asked that question. Just this week, we had a situation arise where our mayor, George Moyer, was trying to sneak through a secret agenda. He had a plan that was going to give a local business a conveyance of a piece of property we paid $3 million for. He was going to give them a $2 million upfront loan on their sales tax. The Brown Act is simply a device or a law or a rule that allows the people to have say on what goes on in their community. It forces transparency. It makes cities and city government, it makes council people accountable to the people, okay? Government is to work for us, not us work for them. And the Brown Act says certain things that have to be done. The Brown Act says that you must expedite public requests for information in an orderly fashion. The Brown Act says that you have to send out notices ahead of time and notice the public when you have public meetings. Ad hoc committees, standing committees, they all have rules so that the public is aware of what's going on. And the Brown Act, unfortunately, doesn't have the meat that it needs to prosecute for criminal offenses. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Colleen?
It was passed in 1953. It's a California legislated, whereas the meeting of the bodies come together. I don't know a lot about it. I've, kind of scanned over stuff about it, but I'm still reading about it. But I know it passed in 1953, and it has to do with the the bodies of the meetings and things.
Thank you, Colleen. I have 2 questions from the chamber. I'll start with Colleen.
Okay.
What's your position on the 3 measures and why? Measure N, O, and P.
Okay. Measure P is, I think, I have to look that up. So I'm being honest. I don't know about that. I know about the other measures. So I don't know. I have to be honest. I really don't. I didn't look that up. I looked up the other propositions, not the measures. So I don't know.
Thank you, Colleen. David?
Real easy, folks. N-O-P, no, no. N is for marijuana. We don't need marijuana in our town. We had town hall meetings and we had a lot of people objecting to marijuana coming into our town. O is a tax on marijuana. We don't need that in our town. P is a sham. I'm sorry. After this, what happened this week with our mayor wanting to give away $5 million to a local business, this town is flush with cash, folks. Measure P is nothing but a cash cow for corruption. All it's going to do is it's going to raise our utility rates. They're already high enough. Our utility rates need to go down. And how are our utility rates going to go down? We need to budget. It's so simple. Budget. Everyone in this room has to budget. Why can't a government body budget? I encourage you, no on P. All P is a scare tactic by George Moyer and Debbie Franklin and Art Welsh to scare us into believing that if we don't pass it, we're not going to have policemen, we're not going to have firemen, we're not going to have the necessities that we need for our people. It's just a scam. It's just a scam. Our utility department is a cash cow for this town, believe me. We pay way too much for electricity. We should immediately be able to pay for electricity at what Southern California Edison sells. The whole concept behind owning your utility department is to have inexpensive utilities. But corruption got a hold of it, and they found out that they can make a cash cow out of it. No on N, no on O, and no on P. Thank you.
Thank you, David. The last question, I'll start with David. Do you think Banning needs additional police officers, CSOs, and code enforcement officers? What is your public safety plan?
My public safety plan is simple. We need to figure out how to retain police officers in this city. We need to pay our police officers the wages that competing cities pay. We need to encourage our police officers to stay here. We need retention. And how are we going to get retention? We're going to get retention by paying them properly. And how are we going to pay them properly? We're going to live on a budget. We're going to make this city live within their means. And yes, we do need police. We have a huge shortage of good qualified police officers in our department right now. The men we have are doing a good job, but I think we're down to, what, 24 officers right now? So we need to figure out how we're going to get better retention. We need to look at all the different options as far as increasing their pay, and we need to, let's say, rob Peter to pay Paul. And that's a little secret that I'm going to keep to myself. But I'll guarantee you, if I win as a councilman for District 5 and I earn your vote, I guarantee you that within a short period of time, our police department will be up to where it needs to be. We'll have more officers on the street and we'll have less crimes. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Colleen?
I feel that if we bring businesses in here, then we can have the police, we have fire, we can have all this emergency help, all that, but you have to bring, I do agree with the budget. You have to know how to budget what's going on in your finances in the city. So, but if you bring businesses here and talk to people, then we can get these policemen. As long as you don't budget your budget, you're not going to get anyone to come here. So you just have to learn how to budget and bring in prospects so they can, come in here and help us out.
Thank you, Colleen. That completes the questions. We'll go ahead and allow you to do your 3-minute closing. I'll start with David.
Again, I'm going to say I'm scared. I'm afraid the way this town is going is not good. And if the people of this community don't vote for the right people to continue the movement that one councilman has pushed hard for 6 years, this town is done, folks. This town's going to turn into someplace that nobody's going to want to live. We're going to increase the homeless. We're going to increase the people that are going to be on the streets that can't afford to live. And Banning does not deserve that. I possess the capabilities that are necessary to turn this town around. I possess the knowledge and the intellect that's necessary to feel empathy and the rule of law and all the aspects that are needed to be a responsible, honest, transparent council member. If our town chooses the wrong council people at this point, we're done. It's imperative that the right candidate be elected. It's imperative that a knowledgeable candidate be elected. And I'm worried. But it would be an honor for everybody in this room to vote for me. And I hope you do. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Colleen?
If I become city council member, I will strive for a cooperative government. I will make sure that I listen and analyze all the facts before I make a decision. I want to be elected. I'm a new voice. I'm a new face. I was born and raised in Banning, and I feel they need a younger generation on the city council.
Thank you, Colleen. That completes the interview of the candidates, the running candidates. Laura and Robert, you're up.
All right, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming. And thank you, David. Thank you, good luck to you. Elaine, thank you, both of you for being here. We appreciate that. Nicole, thank you for both of the nights. We'll see you in October, all of you. Thank you all for coming. We truly appreciate it. Tonight was a shorter night, 2 candidates.
October 10th.
October
and
10th? 11th. And yes, it was a shorter night, but the program, we stayed true to the number of questions, the timing, everything was basically the same. We worked well together, and the chamber. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate your time, and we hope to see you in October.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.